Hello and welcome to Byju's IAS. Let's get started and look into our daily quiz. Let's look into the first question. Consider the following statements with respect to Vice President of India. He or she is elected by the members of an electoral college consisting of only elected members from both the houses of the parliament. An election to fill a vacancy in the office of Vice President occurring by reason of his death, resignation or removal, or otherwise shall be held as soon as possible after and in no case later than 6 months from the date of occurrence of the vacancy. Which of the above statements are correct? The answer to this is none. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the PIB makes a mention of the Vice President of India. Let us try and understand what are these options. When we look into the first option, it says he or she is elected by the members of the electoral college consisting of only elected members from both the houses of the parliament. This is a wrong statement. Why? When it comes to the election of the vice president, both the elected members and the nominated members are engaged in the election of the vice president. So this statement is wrong because it only speaks about elected members, but when it comes to the elections of the vice president, you also have nominated members taking part in the electoral college process where they elect their vice president candidate. When we look into the second statement, an election to fill a vacancy occurring by reason of his death, resignation or removal or otherwise shall be held as soon as possible. This is a right statement, but the second part, and in no case later than 6 months from the date of occurrence of the occupancy, is a wrong statement. Why? Because such a condition is given for the President of India and not for the Vice President of India. When you look into the Bare Act very carefully, you have Article 62 of the Indian Constitution, which speaks about election to fill vacancy in the office of the President, where these wordings speak about the President of India, which means in case there is a vacancy, the elections should be conducted as soon as possible and within a time period of 6 months. Such a condition is not given to the Vice President of India. So it is for the President that in case of a vacancy, he or she should be appointed as soon as possible and within a time scale of 6 months. Such a condition is not given to the Vice President of India, which is why the second option is also wrong and the answer to this would be none. Now let's look into the next practice question. With respect to Miti River, which of the following statements are correct? It is a river flowing through the city of Mumbai. It is a confluence of tailor water discharges of the Tulsi and Vihar lakes. Which of the statements are correct? The answer to this is one only. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes a mention of the Miti river. Let us try and understand what are these options. When we look into the first option, yes, the Miti river flows through the city of Mumbai, where if you can look into this map, this is the Miti river. If you look into the Miti river, it originates from the overflow of the Vihar lake as shown in the image and the Povai lake and not the Tulsi lake. Tulsi lake does not discharge water to the Miti river. So this is a wrong statement. So the second option given here is wrong. So the answer to this would be one only. When it comes to the Miti river, we have to remember the river is seasonal. It rises during the monsoon season. So it is mostly seasonal in nature and swells up mostly during the rainy season. Environmental degradation is seen in the Miti river, and as a result, what we have is the government come up with a proposal to ensure that this environmental degradation is mitigated over a period of time. What is happening to this particular river? Raw sewage is directly dumped, untreated wastewater from the industrial units is directly dumped into this particular river. People conduct all types of illegal activities which they are not supposed to conduct. For example, washing the vessels, animals and oil drums, discharge of unauthorized hazardous waste, all of it is polluting this river. So what the government of Maharashtra has decided is that they are planning to rejuvenate this river and ensure that this pollution to Miti river is mitigated over a period of time. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this practice question. Now let's look into the next practice question. Mount Semeru, recently seen in news, is in which country? Is it Japan, Philippines, Indonesia, Solomon Islands? The answer to this is Indonesia. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article on the Hindu makes mention of Mount Sumeru. Where is this Mount Sumeru? It is an active volcano where in the eastern Java in Indonesia. It is the highest mountain on the island of Java. This stratovolcano is also called as Mahameru, meaning the great mountain in Sanskrit. And where is it located? It is located in Indonesia and happens to be located in a subduction zone where the Indo-Australia plate subducts under the Eurasia plate. This can be important from the preliminary examination point of view. Now let's look into the next practice question. Consider the following statements. They are one of the major Naga ethnic groups. They are known in Arunachal Pradesh as Wanchos. They were the last to give up the practice of headhunting, severing head of enemies after attacking rival tribes. The above statements describe which amongst the following tribes? Abor, Jaintia, Konyak, Rengma. The answer to this is Konyak. Why have we taken this practice question? Because this article here makes a mention of the Konyak tribes. Remember, the Konyak tribes are present in the state of Nagaland. They are also present in the state of Arunachal Pradesh, and few people are also seen in the country of Myanmar as well. These are the people who are called as Wanchos in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. Also remember, the Konyak tribes had a weird practice where in case they engaged in a war or a conflict with the opposition tribe, they used to chop the head of the opposition tribal men and they used to consider the heads as a gift of honor. Such practice was persistent till 1980 and of late we do not see such practices. So the last group which happened to give up on the practice of headhunting happened to be the Konyak tribes. Now let's look into the next practice question. With reference to Indian Ocean Dipole, sometimes mentioned in the news while forecasting Indian monsoon, which of the following statements are correct? IOD phenomenon is characterized by a difference in sea surface temperature between tropical Western Indian Ocean and tropical Eastern Pacific Ocean. An IOD phenomena can influence an El Nino's impact on the monsoon. Select the correct answer using the code given below. The answer to this is 2 only. This happens to be a previous year question from the year 2017. Why is the first statement wrong? That is because when we speak about Indian Ocean Dipole, as the very name denotes, this is a phenomenon which happens in the Indian Ocean. So this is a phenomenon which happens between two poles. That is why it is called as Indian Ocean Dipole. Which are these two poles? One, it includes the western part of the Indian Ocean. It also includes the eastern part of the Indian Ocean. So because it is playing in the Indian Ocean, not in the Pacific Ocean, the first option is wrong. So the answer to this would be 2 only. What happens according to the Indian Ocean Dipole? There is warming of the sea temperature. This results in positive Indian Ocean Dipole, or it can result in the negative Indian Dipole. What is this positive Indian Ocean Dipole? According to which the eastern equatorial Indian Ocean will be comparatively cooler, it becomes more cooler and the part becomes warmer. When this happens, what we have is a positive Indian Ocean Dipole, and this is beneficial for the monsoons in India. But when you consider the negative Indian Ocean Dipole, you have the eastern equatorial Indian Ocean off Sumatra in Indonesia, which comparatively becomes warmer, and the western tropical part of the Indian Ocean near the African coast becomes comparatively colder. This is what is called as negative Indian Ocean Dipole. So when we have negative Indian Ocean Dipole, it obstructs the progression of monsoon close to India, and India may have impact on the monsoon. This also has relevance to El Nino and La Nina. So the second statement is right. So the answer to this would be 2 only. Now let's look into the fact of the day. The fact of the day for today's discussion is hypersonic weapons. What are these hypersonic weapons? First, let us understand the meaning of Mach number. What is the Mach number? Let's consider there is an object. This object is traveling in space. So if this particular object its speed is considered, it is divided by the speed of the sound. The number that we get in the form of a ratio is what is called as Mach number. So what is this Mach number? Identify one of the objects which is flying in the air, divide this by the speed of the sound. The number that you get is what is called as Mach number. On the basis of the Mach number, we have different types of identifications. One is what is called a subsonic object, which means the speed of that particular object is less than Mach 1. Then you have transonic, which means it is equivalent to 1 Mach. Then you have supersonic, which means it has a Mach number greater than 1 but lesser than 5. Finally, what you have is hypersonic objects, missiles or any other aircraft, jets, if they have a Mach greater than 5, that is what is called as hypersonic weapons. So basically, if there is a missile or an object which is flying in the air in excess to Mach 5, such is what is called as the hypersonic weapons. These are the weapons which can fly at speeds in excess of Mach 5, which is 5 times the speed of the sound and not the light. Remember, it is the speed of the sound that has to be taken into picture. Similar questions can also be asked in the preliminary examination. So to confuse you, they might give it a speed of light, but remember, it is the speed of sound. When it comes to the hypersonic weapons, there are two types of hypersonic weapons. One is what is called as hypersonic glide vehicle. The other is what is called as hypersonic cruise missile. What is this glide vehicle? Basically, this is injected from a ballistic launcher, then progresses without propulsion using skip and glide phases in the upper atmosphere. But when it comes to hypersonic cruise missile, they are powered through the flight by a ramjet or a scramjet, progresses to the target through the lower atmosphere. So these are the major two types when it comes to the hypersonic missiles. What are the advantages of these hypersonic missiles? Basically, if you consider the ballistic missiles, they are faster. They also follow a fixed trajectory and travel outside the atmosphere. But when it comes to the hypersonic missiles, they travel within the atmosphere. And what are the advantages? The major advantage is that the conventional missile defense system will not be efficient against the hypersonic missiles. How? Let's say, for example, there is an incoming hypersonic missile. Ideally, what would happen? There'll be a defense mechanism, missile defense system. This should be able to identify this particular target and should be able to hit it. But because of the pace with which it is traveling, these missile defense system will not be able to stop them, and this particular hypersonic missile will hit the target, and what it can lead to is loss for the enemy target. The next virtue of the hypersonic weapons happens to be undetectability. What happens? We have the radars that are mounted, air defense system. These air defense systems and the radars would not be able to detect them. So what we have is undetectability of these hypersonic weapons because they are traveling at high speeds. Finally, these hypersonic missiles are a new threat in themselves because they are capable of maneuvering and flying faster than 5000 km per hour, since the defense system and the radar is not able to identify them, fix the target. This can also lead to losses for the home country, but this can be an advantage for the country which is attacking the enemy country. Which are the countries which are in advanced mode of development? We have China, we have Russia and United States of America, who are in the advanced level of developing hypersonic missiles. Added to this, you have countries like Australia, India, France, Germany and Japan, who are also developing hypersonic weapons technology. When it comes to India, we have DRDO, which is engaging in such activities where they had tested the hypersonic technology demonstrated vehicle. India is also in talks with Russia as well, where it is planning to develop hypersonic BrahMos as well. So such are the advancements when it comes to India. India should also remember that because of the disruptive changes that is introduced by China in terms of artificial intelligence and cyber warfare, and now in the field of hypersonic weapons, India should be ready to engage in such a warfare with China as well. So going forward, we need to have a proper technology roadmap. We need to know what kind of firefighting capability that we need to have as a country, and instead of countering individual threats emanating from multiple countries, we need to have an objective criteria for the defense related issues. So going forward, because of the tensions between United States of America, China and Russia, what we may also see is worsening geopolitical situation worldwide, says this article. It is this that we have to understand in reference to this article. So this is it for today. Thank you for watching. All the best.